Now, another story we are monitoring for you is the MPC meeting as businesses wait for the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana to end its meeting and announce a policy rate on Monday next week. Chief Executive of Delex Finance, Ken Thompson, has downplayed any significant effect of the rate on inflation. The policy rate is currently at 17%, whilst inflation is at 23.6%. Ken Thompson spoke extensively to Joy Business's Lawrence Segbefia. Listen to what he makes of the rise in inflation.
You know, I've heard a lot of commentary on the airwaves about the MPC meeting, and a lot of Ghanaians are expectant. But the truth of the matter is that we've got to look at what is causing the inflation. It's not an increase in money supply, it's an increase in prices. We have a full-blown crisis with respect to the cost of living. We have a cost of living crisis. And unfortunately, the governor cannot do anything about it. The governor cannot do anything about this cost of living crisis because it's coming from increase in the price of oil, which affects everything. It's coming from decrease in the supply of commodities because of what's happening in Ukraine, extra. A lot of countries have actually banned, including Ghana, the export of food. So the governor can't do anything about it. There's nothing that can be done. We have to swallow it. We have to swallow it. I mean, prices have gone through the roof. So if I'm a betting man, I'd say that the rates probably remain the same. And even if you look at, say, places like England, I mean, they hit inflation of nearly 10% this April, and the base rate is about hovering under 2%. We've just got to swallow it. There's very little the governor can do about it. There's very little the MPC can do about it. We just have to swallow it.
So if you say that there is very little the governor can do about it, does it then mean that we should look at the fiscal side? And if we are looking at the fiscal side, what are we supposed to do?
If you know, this unfortunately is going to get much worse before it gets better, even if we start doing something about it. It's going to get much worse before it starts getting better. Here is a country that has been addicted to foreign goods and services forever. And I've talked about this so many times. We're addicted to foreign goods and services. So of course, we import inflation. Of course, it presents an opportunity for Ghanaians to now start to produce, but we have to start. You know, what really breaks my heart, is my staff, they hound me, and I'm using hound with a small a. They hound me for increase in salaries. And I honestly wish I could double everybody's salary. Because we've been hit with, not only in the inflation, you know, what's because we had currency depreciation, we had increase in oil prices, we have increase in food prices. It's a triple whammy. But I can't, as a business, we can't do it. We just can't. And really, I'm the CEO, so maybe I have a bit more cushion, only because probably I earn a bit more. But my lifestyle has changed. My lifestyle has changed. If you ask my staff, all I eat every afternoon is a yogurt gari, which is okay. I don't mind that. But I suspect that there'll be some starvation. I suspect that. If you look at the price of basic gari, plantain, there'll be some starvation. And it's going to get much worse before it gets better, because we've been addicted to foreign goods and services for a very long time. So it was obvious that something like this would hit us. And everybody in Ghana knows that we are addicted to foreign goods and services. I'll give you examples of opportunities that have been there that we've never taken advantage of. Do you know that Ghana is the second largest importer of tomato paste behind Germany? Can you imagine? We spend approximately $28 million on tomato paste every year. We spend over $300 million on importing chicken every year. So of course, if price of chicken goes up externally, it's going to affect us. And people will talk about the feed extra. Yes, I agree, but we were sitting ducks, and it's going to get much worse before it gets better.
What will be your response to those on the government side who say that there were good initiatives like the planting for food and jobs, which saw a lot of injection of money. And so we should have seen this food on the market.
So who's being held responsible for not seeing the food on the market? It's the people that executed. What are they talking about? You say you put in 100 million in a project, and when we need food, we don't get it. You say, so is it my responsibility? It's the people that were put in place to execute. Is it my responsibility? Let's not even go there. I don't want to talk about this. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. And I think a lot of money has been spent. But here we are where, if you buy plantain, one finger of plantain is, I don't know, 1 cedi. Okra, 1 cedi. Tomatoes, 1 cedi. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how much was invested in agricultural infrastructure, because if it was invested in agricultural infrastructure, we had dams, things like dams, warehouses, then probably there's a possibility that these can now take over and support our farmers. How much? But even if you are planting tomatoes, is an example, the roads are terrible. So by the time you add on the cost of transportation, really, you're back to square one. It's the responsibility of government. It's not my responsibility.
Okay, let's look forward. So going forward, we are aware. We know that there was planting for food and jobs. There was one dam, one village, and all that. Do you think the implementation didn't go well? Is that what you are suggesting?
All I know, and I don't know how the details, but all I know is that we have a cost of living crisis and people will starve. We have a cost of living crisis, and let's deal with it. What's happened is happened. I don't deal with that. So all the money was spent in build dams. Where is the effect on the table when people go to the market? That is what matters. Isn't that what matters? That's what matters. The rest is irrelevant. We have to swallow the inflation. My prediction is that the rates won't change much, if at all, they remain the same. And we have to take a long-term position as to solve this problem, because we are addicted to foreign goods and services. So in as much as a lot of inflation has come from overseas, a lot more has come from us, because we've never done the things that are necessary for us to create jobs, build indigenous businesses, so that we can grow and develop. What are we complaining about?
When we saw inflation going up, we saw the central bank also react by increasing the policy rate. And still, inflation has gone up and it is above the policy rate. Some say it is a mismatch. So, you are saying from the monetary side, what the central bank will do may not amount to, but there are some others who also think that it may take some time for us to see the effects. What is your response to that?
If you follow global affairs, I mean, a lot of countries are in the same situation because, the price have gone up through nothing that, is being due to external forces. If for nothing at all, the price of fuel has gone up. The governor has the governor of the central bank has one key instrument: interest rates. What's he going to do? He's going to take, if I was a governor, I'll take a long-term view. So increase interest rates to, the MPC rate to 27%, that's a collapse. That's the more collapse. But we've got to take a long-term view. We've got to find a ways to swallow it. And we've got to manage it. And we've got to be able to show that, we're going to recover over time. And that's source of interest, to people that invest. And those things are key. But I don't expect the rate to go. If we're going by that approach, then the rate will go, let's say you're looking at 26%, I doubt it very much. It will probably remain the same. And they're going to take a long-term view of the market. Because what's afflicting us is afflicting the bigger economies in the world. Their inflation rates are higher than their base rates, much higher. I mean, not much higher, but in terms of they're higher, yes.
All right. So you've mentioned interest rates, and the concern is that interest rates to the real sectors of the economy, agriculture, agribusiness, manufacturing, is high, and it is one of the reasons why we are not seeing the growth that we want. You are a key player in the financial sector. What is the solution to this particular challenge?
If we really want to grow, then we've got to ensure that the government stays out of business. All we're looking for, all the private sector is looking for, is create regulations, make them fair, make them transparent, and let people work. That is all we're looking for. That is all. I mean, you run a small outfit. Today is FDA. Tomorrow is food and drugs. That's just food and drug. Tomorrow is NIB. It's BNI, National Security, GRA, the Assembly. Just let us work. That's all Ghanaians are looking for, because you don't realize that over 70% of the economy is informal. And when you go up and down the country, you don't see people looking for government to help them. They want to work. Just create the infrastructure and allow us to work. Let the courts work. That's what we're looking for. And if we really are serious, those are the things we look at, and let people work. That's all it is. And that is what's going to get out of this hole. And in another, in the same breath, what I'll say is that the small and medium scale enterprises should put their house together. I mean, I come across a lot of business, you don't know what your margins are, you don't know what your rent per square foot is, you don't know what your cost of staff is, you don't take stock, and every day you complain. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, what are you complaining about? So create the environment for people to do business. And if you go up and down this country, nobody wants government help. All they say is that give us the tools to work. Create the infrastructure and stay out of business. That's all.
A very interesting interview there with Ken Thompson, who is the chief executive of Deluxe Finance. Just a few points that he made about the rising inflation. He's saying that we are in a full-blown crisis, and that it would get much worse before it gets better. As you can see on your screen, consumer prices rose to 23.6% in April, is the highest since 2004. Inflation is at more than double Bank of Ghana's target. Food price growth set to 26.6% year-on-year from 22.4% in March. Non-food inflation hit 21.3% in April from 17% in the previous month. Just to sum up all that Ken Thompson has been saying, we have a full-blown crisis. Bank of Ghana can do little about it. The cost of living is going to get much worse before it gets better. And he made a point about Ghana being addicted to importing goods and services